He arrived in America with nothing, no money, no connections, and barely any English. People doubted him. Some laughed at his dreams, but he refused to quit. He worked day and night, failed many times, and cried in silence. Years later, he built a successful life and became a millionaire. This is the American dream, a journey of pain, hope, and unstoppable courage. He stood at the airport with a single suitcase in his hand. Inside that suitcase were a few clothes, some documents, and a worn-out photograph of his family. In his pocket, he had only a few $100s. In his heart, he carried something much bigger, hope. He was an immigrant. He had left his home country behind, not because he wanted to, but because he dreamed of a better life. His village was small, his opportunities were limited, and his future felt trapped. He grew up watching his parents struggle every day, working hard but still unable to escape poverty. He promised himself that one day he would change that story. When he finally landed in America, everything felt unreal. The buildings were tall, the streets were busy, and people moved fast. He felt small. He felt invisible. He didn't know anyone. He barely spoke English, and he had no idea what his life would look like. But he had one goal: to succeed. The first months were the hardest of his life. He lived in a tiny shared room with 3 other immigrants. The room was crowded, noisy, and uncomfortable, but it was all he could afford. He slept on a thin mattress on the floor. At night, he stayed at the ceiling and wondered if he had made the biggest mistake of his life. He found a job washing dishes in a restaurant. The work was exhausting. His hands were always wet, his back hurt, and his boss shouted when he made mistakes. Customers spoke fast English, and he could barely understand them. Sometimes they laughed at his accent. He felt ashamed. He felt lonely. He felt lost. There were nights when he missed his mother so much that his chest hurt. He wanted to go back home. But then he remembered why he came: to give his family a better life, to prove that dreams are possible. So he stayed, learning and growing. Every night after work, he studied English. He watched YouTube videos, listened to podcasts, and read children's books to learn basic vocabulary. He practiced speaking in front of a mirror. "Hello, my name is. How are you today? I'm learning English." He repeated these sentences hundreds of times. His roommates laughed at him sometimes. "Why do you study so hard?" they asked. "We will always be workers." But he refused to believe that. He believed knowledge was power. He saved every dollar. He didn't buy new clothes. He didn't eat at restaurants, and he never wasted money. His dream was bigger than comfort. The first failure. After 2 years, he decided to start a small business. He had saved enough money to open a tiny convenience store with a friend. He thought this was his chance. At first, everything seemed good. But soon, problems started. Rent was high. Sales were low. His partner was irresponsible. After 1 year, the business failed. He lost everything. All his savings were gone. He had debts. His friend left. He felt like a failure. One night, he sat alone on the sidewalk and cried. He thought about giving up and going back home. He imagined the faces of his parents if he returned with nothing. But something inside him refused to quit. He told himself, "If I give up now, my whole journey will be meaningless." So he started again, working from zero again. He returned to small jobs. He worked in a warehouse during the day and drove a taxi at night. Sometimes he slept only 4 hours a day. His body was tired, but his mind was awake. He started reading books about business, motivation, and success. He listened to stories of immigrants who became successful. He learned about entrepreneurship, investments, and leadership. He realized something important. Success is not about luck. It is about persistence. The turning point. One day, he got a job in a small tech company as a cleaner. But instead of just cleaning, he observed everything. He watched how employees worked. He listened to conversations. He learned how the business operated. He asked questions. He offered help. He learned basic computer skills. Slowly, his boss noticed him. "You are very hardworking," his boss said one day. "Do you want to learn more about this job?" That sentence changed his life. He started learning coding and digital skills at night. It was difficult, but he loved it. He realized that technology was the future. After 1 year, he became a junior employee. His salary increased. He felt proud for the first time in America, building his own dream. With his new skills, he started freelancing. He worked on small projects, built websites, and helped small businesses. Slowly, his income grew. He saved again. This time, he was smarter. He invested in learning, not just business. After 5 years, he started his own digital agency. At first, he had only 2 clients, but he worked extremely hard. He delivered high-quality work. Clients started recommending him. His company grew. He hired employees. He rented an office. He expanded his services. He remembered how he used to wash dishes and drive taxis. Now he was running a company. The moment he made it, 10 years after arriving in America, he checked his bank account and realized something unbelievable. He was a millionaire. He bought a house for his parents. He brought his family to America. He helped his siblings go to college. He donated to charities. He became a role model for other immigrants. People now called him a success story. They invited him to speak at events. They asked him for advice. But he never forgot where he came from. Remembering the past, one day, he returned to the restaurant where he used to wash dishes. The same boss was there. The same kitchen. The same smell. The boss didn't recognize him. He ordered food and left a big tip. As he walked out, he smiled and whispered, "Thank you for making me strong." He knew that every struggle, every tear, every failure was part of his journey. His message to the world. In interviews, people asked him, "What is the American dream?" He answered, "The American dream is not about money. It is about opportunity. It is about a poor immigrant arriving with nothing and creating a life with hard work and belief. It is about failing and starting again. It is about hope." He told young immigrants, "Never think you are small. Never think you cannot succeed. Your accent, your background, your past, these are your strength. If you keep moving forward, your dream will become reality." The final thought. He looked at the old photograph of his family, the same one he carried in his suitcase. He remembered the scared young man at the airport. He smiled. He was no longer that scared immigrant. He was proof that dreams can come true. And his story became a symbol of the American dream.